Hello, welcome back to the sixth video about setting up a DHCP in a Mikrotik router. So you know that DHCP is a protocol that allows you to automatically provide the IP information needed to set up a network. And what's the needed information for DHCP protocol? First, we have to define our network address. Then we'll have to define the gateway address, the address of our router. The router will connect our network with the rest of the world, with the internet of other networks. And then we'll have to provide our DNS server. Okay, so first of all, we need our network address. Any private address will be okay. Let's make it easy, and we could use just 10.0.0.0 slash 24. That's a network address. In that network address, I always tell you that good practice is to use the first address for the gateway. So the gateway will be the 10.0.0.1. Okay, and the DNS server, just Google's one is perfect, 8.8.8.8. That's it. But DHCP needs to give the computers some IP addresses, so it needs a pool of addresses. A pool of addresses in that network address. So for example, a suitable pool could be from 10.0.0. Let's say 50 till 10.0.0.66. Never mind, it will provide just with 16 IP addresses from the IP 51 till the IP 66. Will be more than enough. So that's what we will have to set up in our Mikrotik router. We'll use that IP address for the router, and then we'll have to set up a DHCP configuration. So let's start. We have our router, and we like to check how it does work. For that, we could use any machine. We'll use our Windows and Ubuntu dual boot machine. We'll plug that machine just straight to the router, to whatever port. I will be using Ethernet 2, because in those Mikrotik routers, the Ether 1 is normally used for connecting the router to the Ethernet. So we'll use Ethernet 2, and we'll have to do some kind of manual setup in the Mikrotik router just to put the IP address here, and we can do the configuration in that machine. So let's start our Ubuntu machine, open a console, and let it boot. While that Ubuntu machine is booting, we'll have to go to the console of the Mikrotik router, and just put here our IP address. Which one? The one we have decided, just 10.0.0.1/24. So we have here our router. We have to go to /IP. We have to go to address, and I want to add a new address. Which address? 10.0.0.1/24. And in which interface? Ether2. That's it. With the print command, we can check that the network address is set up in the interface Ether2. Okay, great. Now, to be able to set up that router from this Ubuntu machine, we need to manually set up that Ubuntu machine, because we still have no DHCP server here. So let's go to our Linux machine. Okay, here in our Ubuntu machine we have no network, so we'll have to the menu and set up the network manually. I know I love to use profile, so I'll create a new profile with a manual configuration of the network, and in the IPv4 I just will put a suitable IP address from my network. Remember that the network was 10.0.0.24. So here I will use one address from that network, 10.0.0. Any address but the one reserved for the router will be okay, so just 2. The mask will be 24, and I don't need the gateway, but it's the 10.0.0.1. It's not needed for setting up the DHCP. Okay, you have to click to make sure that it's applied, and of course you have to go to a terminal and use IPA to make sure that your IP is what you expect. Now you should be able to ping your gateway 10.0.0.1. Okay, perfect. It's answering. So we could use our browser, our Firefox browser, and go to the IP address of the router to set up through a web interface. So here we've got our browser, and just put the IP address of our router. Okay, admin, the password is Mikrotik. Don't have to save. And here in the webfig option you can set up that router. Let's close that message. Okay, so let's go for the DHCP. We said that we have to set up a pool of addresses with the addresses from the 50 till the 66. So in the Firefox, first thing to do is going to the IP part, and then choosing pool, IP pool. And here we need to add a new pool with any name. For example, DHCP sample. Addresses, here we need to put the initial and final address. So it's the 10.0.0. We said from the 50 till the 10.0.0.66. Next, for nothing, just apply or OK. and we have our pool created. Nice. Next, we said that for DHCP we have to identify a network and a DNS server. So we should do that in our router. So in IP DHCP server, we have to create a network. We have to create our network. So we'll add a network, and the address of our network is the 10.0.0.0/24. That's the address of my network. Important network address. Netmask, if you want to provide, is 24. The gateway will be the 10.0.0.1, the IP we've put in that router. And there's a small bug in that web interface. You have to hide this DHCP option set. You have to hide that. You have to add the DNS server and put the 8.8.8.8 we've chosen. Here you can apply. Okay. Cancel and go to check if it's okay. Be careful, it's a non-important bug, but it could lead to some kind of confusion. Here you don't have any DHCP option set, but you have something marked. So if you say OK, it will complain that there's an invalid value in DHCP option set. You just have to hide that. OK, and then it will go. It's just a non-important bug, but it's working. Okay, so we have created our network. Great. We just have to create our DHCP server. So in that tab, in the DHCP tab, you have to add a new DHCP. Name whatever you want. DHCP server. In the case of a real router, you will put something that will identify your DHCP server and your network. Important, where do we want our DHCP server to work? We want it over the Ethernet 2, because this is where we have our Ubuntu machine plugged. Next, the address pool. We want to use our pool, the pool we've set up with DHCP sample and nothing more. OK. The same error, you have an invalid value in the HCP option set, so just hide it, and now OK, it will work. OK, here you've got a DHCP server, you've got a network, and you've got a DHCP pool. With all of this working from that device, we should be able to get an IP automatically. Let's check. Let's go to the network configuration. Let's use our parameters configuration, and I'll create a new profile with the name of DHCP, so it's clear what it is. DHCP IPv4, it's automatic. Just add, and I click for using that, and you can see that my IP address is the 10.0.0.66, the latest IP address in our pool. And if I check it here, I can see IPA that my IP is just 10.0.0.66. So now we have in our Mikrotik router a DHCP server working, able to provide addresses to a network connected to the Ether2 interface. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.